Welcome to the Transom Podcast, a monthly roundup of the new features on the transom.org website, providing mathematical puzzles, games, learning activities, and the ever-popular mathematics lesson starter of the day. Here's your host, John Tranter.
Happy New Year to you, your family and your pupils. I hope 2016 brings you happiness and that a small part of that happiness comes from your use of Transom online activities. Well, I would, wouldn't I? Well, let's start off the year with a strange puzzle for your pondering pleasure. 3 ticks are equal to 5 tocks. 2 tocks are equal to 5 tacks. 3 tacks are equal to 1 tuck. Which of the following is the smallest? 1 tick, 2 tocks, 3 tacks, or 4 tucks? The answer will be at the end of this podcast. And of course, if you want to hear that again, you have to rewind and play it again.
You are listening to the Transom Podcast.
Okay, so while you think about that, here's an update of the new activities that appeared on the Transom website last month. Let's start with the game Numerate. It's the numerical version of Scrabble. Players take it in turns to create interconnecting equations on the game board, and in doing so, earn points, depending on the complexity of their equations and the positioning of their tiles on the board. So that's a game that is for 2 players, ideally, and it's one where the computer doesn't do all the mental work for them. The players have to agree if the equations are valid. The computer doesn't do that for them, and they also have to add up their own scores. So that's adding up the scores on the tiles and also applying the bonuses according to which square they've placed the tile on. So that's a good activity, something different for pupils working in pairs. An addictive new grid shading puzzle called Cryptographic challenges you to find the pictures by using the number string clues at the end of each row and column of a grid. The puzzle was created as a child-accessible version of the puzzle included in the Christmas card sent by the director of GCHQ, Britain's Security and Intelligence Organisation. So, the puzzle is good enough for all the boffins of the country, and this scaled-down version is ideal for your pupils. Give it a go. As a maths teacher, do you know the ultimate and most, well, probably the first mathematical riddle? It's about the life of Diophantus, the father of algebra, who lived in the 2nd century. The riddle can be solved by forming and solving an equation containing fractions. You can read more about this on another new page on the Transom website called How Old Was Diophantus? Now this one produces some beautiful diagrams. It's called The Search for Infinity, and it's a trial and improvement challenge in which pupils manipulate Lissajous figures to produce beautiful patterns in their search for the rotated figure of 8, the infinity symbol. That's something that will give them, well, I won't say hours, but many minutes of pleasure, and may also produce some nice display work for your classroom. So if you haven't seen the Lissajous figures before, have a look at that. It's called Search for Infinity. In addition to these new activities, many of the existing activities have been added to and improved. In fact, all the pages are updated on a rotating basis, so the site is constantly getting better, and there are even more useful activities for supporting your teaching.
You can find Transom Mathematics at www.transom.org.
If you are based in the UK, you will have probably heard in the news this week that every child will be expected to know their times tables off by heart when they leave primary school as part of the government's war on innumeracy. Nicky Morgan, the Education Secretary, has unveiled plans to test 11-year-olds on their multiplication skills in new online tests, which will be introduced to all primary schools next year. There are those, however, who question the necessity of the tests, especially given the cost of administering them. Bafflingly, there is also still a vocal minority who, for one reason or another, believe that children shouldn't learn their times tables and deride rote learning as having no place in a 21st century education. Good primary teachers, however, know that a blended is best approach is the ideal, and that a small amount of rote learning of the multiplication tables pays dividends, supporting pupils in other areas of mathematics for the rest of their lives. On the Transom website, the most popular single activity for many years has been Tables Master, which is a self-marking online test that encourages pupils to improve their ability to recall their tables so that they can improve on their personal best times. The reverse bar chart and the tables tips add support and motivation, though many pupils are more motivated by the high score chart. So if you haven't seen it before, the main Transom Times Tables page provides links to many activities which are very effective in helping children learn their multiplication facts, and is just as relevant for secondary school teachers as it is for primary. You'll find that at www.transom.org/tables. The answer to the puzzle for this week can be answered by expressing each thing in terms of Tocks. So, for example, 1 tick is 5/3 of a tock. 2 tocks is the same as 2 tocks. 3 tacks is 6/5 of a tock. And 4 tucks is 24/5 of a tock. So the smallest, by that little calculation, is 3 tacks. It's a lot easier to see it in print or online. So if you'd like to do that, go to transom.org/newsletter, and you'll also find links to the other activities mentioned in this podcast. Okay, that's all for this month. Enjoy your January. Goodbye.
Thank you for downloading and listening to the Transom podcast. You can find the website at www.transom.org, where you're welcome to use all of the activities absolutely free, or jump in with both feet and become a Transom subscriber.